Jeff Cork,
Hey, handsome.
you have been playing just a boatload of a game called Yakuza 0 on PS4.
It's true.
Is it only on PS4?
Yes.
Okay. This is Yakuza series has been going on for so long. I feel like everyone has the same feelings on Yakuza. Every single person across planet Earth, where they see the series, they say, "This kind of looks funky. It kind of looks cool. Maybe I should play one of those games someday." Were you in that boat before you played Yakuza 0?
Yes.
And then you've played how many hours of it?
I don't even know. Dozens and dozens and dozens of hours.
And what do you think?
I think it's great.
Really?
It is so much fun. It's probably, I think, one of the biggest surprises I've had in years.
Years.
Yeah.
The thing that I've been watching you play it, sort of, like
Yes.
not like actively, but like every time I look, because I can see your screen from where I sit at the office. Every time I look at you, you are doing something completely different
Yes.
and completely weird. Sometimes you're like on the phone making sexy calls.
Yep.
Sometimes you're doing the car racing on the tracks. One time you were like taking this lady to a schoolyard, like this scantily dressed lady, maybe a prostitute. I don't know. I didn't stick around long enough to find out. And
But
you were,
what's
like,
he doing
talking
in the
to
game?
children. You're getting into fights.
Lots of fighting.
So much fighting, and then you're sniffing panties. What is
That
this
did not
game?
happen, you weirdo.
It's very close. What is the structure of this game?
So it's basically an open world game, and you have two characters that you're choosing from, or you don't necessarily choose from. It's complicated. So basically, you have two main characters, and in the campaign, it bounces between the two perspectives. The central conflict is around this piece of undeveloped land that is very small, and it's kind of standing in the in place of this major development plan, right? So the Yakuza sniffing around there, to use your favorite word, and trying to make sure that they can figure out who has this land, who owns it, and take control of it and everything. So the two characters are kind of like, you see this conflict through their eyes. And basically, what's that?
Are they both gangsters?
Yeah, one of them is a Goro Majoma is he's a former Yakuza member, some kind of an act of disobedience, and he was kind of tortured for a year, and they just finally like kicked him out of the family. So he's trying to earn his way back in by managing a nightclub, and he's kind of under the thumb of this one Yakuza handler, and he's over in Osaka. And then Kiryu is in Tokyo, and he was like a new member of the Yakuza, and he's been framed with this murder, and he's trying to get to the bottom of it. And by doing so, he's renouncing officially his Yakuza ties and investigating this to clear his name.
So wait, is the story interesting? Because
Absolutely. Yeah, it's super interesting.
Huh.
How does that lead to slot car racing? Like,
Well, basically, you have the open world, and you've got story missions, as you might expect. But I think the big gimmick with this is that you have a Tokyo area and then Osaka, and you can kind of switch, go to both of them by taking cabs and stuff. But the world is pretty dense, and there's just a ton of side content that you can dive into it just about any time.
Is it worthwhile, or is it just
Absolutely.
fun?
It's super fun and interesting and crazy weird, and there's just so much to do. And I think what I was most impressed with is how well it's all handled. So there's like a fishing game that is really fun. It's simple, like fishing game, but you catch a bunch of fish, and there's like a mission tied to it, where a couple missions actually, where you can turn the fish in for rewards. There's, like Kyle mentioned, there's the slot car racing, where you can also tune your cars and buy parts from vendors all over town. And there's a couple of like missions associated with that. They give you some pretty cool prizes.
You described this game as like the best parts of Deadly Premonition and some of the weirdest parts of Deadly Premonition, except on next gen.
But it reminds me of like a Shenmue and
Yeah.
Deadly Premonition kind of thing. It's the Deadly Premonition thing is mostly in the tone of the side stuff, because
Okay.
the actual campaign is fairly serious stuff, right?
Okay.
But what they do also, the side stuff, is when it gets super crazy and weird and funny, and it has a really charming tone to it that I think kind of like some of the pervier things, of which there are several, you kind of give it a pass in a lot of ways, just because it just seems like it's kind of endearing, and it seems more kind of like, I don't even want to dig into
You
this too much.
described it also as Oh Japan, the game.
There's a lot of that.
Okay.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's just got a really fun tone to it, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the evolution of Shenmue. Is that what like Sega did with the Shenmue team after Shenmue totally tanked? Does anybody
It
know
is
if
Sega that published this thing.
Yeah, it is Sega. Yeah,
It's
I don't
not
know.
like that team.
Yeah, no, not that I'm aware of.
And also, so this is a good place to jump on because there's been 1,000 of these games. They went back in time,
Mhm.
but Yakuza 0 seems like a clean break. Like
Yeah,
pretty
because
good.
it's a prequel. It's set in 1988. It does
Okay.
have the two characters are kind of they're part of the main series as well.
right.
But this is a nice I'm not like I said, I'm not a big Yakuza guy going into this, and I didn't have any problem keeping up with what was going on.
Yeah.
You could tell there are definitely some moments where like a character in a side mission will walk away, and then the guy, one of the characters will be like, "Oh, wonder who that is." And it's very clearly fan service for like someone's going, "Oh, this is that guy when he was young." But
I
it's not like
recognize that pervert.
yeah, exactly. But
Do you get in cars and drive around, or is it
there is no driving, which
okay? So you walk around the open world.
you walk around the open world,
Okay.
right? And there's a lot of like hand-to-hand fighting, and each character has 3 main combat styles. You can also unlock a 4th one for them.
Oh,
And then
okay.
there's like a big, massive. It's set up kind of like almost like a pachinko screen, but you unlock various things, and like there's a big, massive skill tree for them.
I saw you breakdancing.
Yeah, one of the styles is like a breakdancing style. You get it from watching some street performers. So you're doing like windmills and head spins and kicking people around. And that style, you unlock the ability to, if someone comes at you with a sword, you bite it with your teeth.
What?
And then
All right,
like,
I'm sold.
slow motion and like fling it back at them, and it like impales them. My favorite is there's a Slugger Style, which you use a baseball bat, and you can like whirl it around like a nunchuck, and then you've got this heat meter that builds up to 3 levels, and then you can use it to perform special moves. So like the move that I would rely on a lot with Slugger, you basically take the bat and jam it, just knock them down, jam it in their mouth, and then like kick it.
It's graphic.
It's super gross, but
But
yeah.
it's cool. Good
It's just
times.
cool. It's a baseball bat.
Kyle,
they're
is there-
bad guys.
Is there any world where you will play this game?
Yeah, I'd like to try it.
Yeah.
Based on just looking over Cork's shoulder and hearing him talk about it. And I'm just like every other human being where it's like, oh, that Yakuza series, I should check that out at some point.
Exactly.
People are really positive on that. And it sounds like this is the one to kind of try.
Yeah. God. All right.
I noticed one of your fingers is missing, Cork. Does that have anything to do with this?
It's a complete coincidence.
Oh, okay.
I assure you.
Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can click right here if you want to subscribe and listen to the audio version of the full show. Full episodes air every Thursday, and they feature Game Informer editors sitting around talking about the biggest reviews, previews. We talk about exclusive impressions of Game Informer's cover stories. We have long-form developer interviews, everything that's great in gaming. So every Thursday, be sure to check it out.